What's up, everyone? Jason Gilbo here with Justin Elick, taking a look at pitching for tonight's slate. Clayton Kershaw day, but I mean, we do have a lot of other options. I feel comfortable kind of spinning off of just because, I mean, he's at a ridiculously high price again.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously Kershaw is going to do what he does. Aside from that starting course, I mean, he's been excellent as usual. Doesn't walk anybody, strikes out a ton of guys. I mean, I guess relative to the Kershaw we expect, the strikeout numbers are slightly down, but still 13 strikeout to walk ratio. I mean, whip 0.79. He just is doing what he always does. Somehow giving up 32% hard contact, but I think a lot of that was that Colorado game, which is the couple pitches he kind of left hanging. So there's nothing to worry about. I mean, he's got the highest floor of any pitcher, as always. And really, if you look at the Giants, like there's only two teams in baseball that have been worse against left-handed pitching. That's the Rangers and the Royals. I mean, Giants still only striking out 20.7% of the time, but a team 103 ISO, 265 WOBA. I mean, this team has been, absolutely horrible against lefties, and now they're facing the best one in the world. And I know his last start wasn't really – it was still pretty dominant, but it wasn't, the type of line you expect for $12,000 to $14,000. But, I mean, you got your, 40-point floor probably on FanDuel, probably 25 to 30, DraftKings, somewhere in there. And, I mean, his upside's still pretty big. But, I mean, there's no course tonight. There's not a lot of huge bats I feel like you need to pay for. So, he's perfectly fine for your single cash game guys. But, I mean, I don't think he's an absolute necessity tonight.
No, I don't think so. I mean, at these prices on both sides, really, I don't think he is. I mean, I get the safety and you're paying for the safety. DraftKings, I just don't think I can go that route. I mean, there are cheap guys that you can plug in with them. I mean, just because Severino's not that expensive, that's kind of a gift there. But it's still $21,000 of combined salary. Amir Garrett, if you want to go down that road, isn't a bad price on DraftKings. But I'm with you. I mean, I think cash games you can still plug him in. Obviously, FanDuel, it's always much more lenient to fit him in and still get some bats at a value price. But yeah, like you said, I mean, I don't think he's an absolute must play because there are some good options, and sites are failing to price up Luis Severino, who's in a good spot at home against Toronto tonight.
And he's been incredible.
Yeah, I mean, you look at him, Jason Vargas. I mean, McCullers has the upside to match Kershaw tonight at a cheaper price. I mean, there's other guys that are producing on a similar level right now, but that's over a smaller span, while Kershaw's been doing it over years.
Yeah, exactly. And don't read anything into this whole bruised right calf thing for Kershaw. Obviously, if he's less than 100%, there's no way that he's going to pitch. So he's perfectly fine. And It's not like Syndergaard and how you're worried about, no, I'm not going to get an MRI and he's going to act like a spoiled little 6-year-old and not go see the doctor when he feels bad. Like, that was stupid. But Kershaw with a bruise on his calf, like, let's pretend like that doesn't exist.
Yeah. First pivot, Lance McCullers. I mean, this guy developing some pretty noticeable home road splits so far this year. I mean, 5 games, but it did carry a little bit into last season as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I think kind of recency bias could keep his ownership a little bit lower than it should be, because he did get tagged in his last start at Cleveland. But I mean, he's got a higher strikeout rate than Kershaw. Like you mentioned, last year his home road splits were kind of significant again. Gave up a 312 WOBA at home, 362 on the road. Only made a couple starts in the road though. Looks like 21 total innings, but I mean, his strikeout rate's over 11 per 9 right now. And his issue is really lefties. He's given up a 372 WOBA to lefties so far. And there are some pretty good lefties in this lineup. But, you've got to anticipate. I mean, he's a monster favorite, minus, 215, somewhere in there. Facing Cashner. You got to imagine he gets plenty of run support in this one. Team total for Texas is not particularly high. And, that's a team that, if you're looking at righties or them facing righties, is they're pretty much average aside from their really high 198 team ISO. So, if they're not hitting home runs, they're not doing a whole lot. And, McCullers, pretty small sample size from last year, I guess. But, over 81 innings pitched there, he gave up 0.56 home runs per 9. So he does not give up a whole lot of home runs.
No, I like McCullers quite a bit here. I think Texas, I mean, they are very boomer bust, like you said. I mean, 19th in WOBA, near 22% strikeout rate against righties. McCullers, I mean, you just look, I mean, swing strike rate, I mean, it's on Kershaw level this year. Mix that with his ground ball rate. I mean, you know, most of the bats against him, it's either a strikeout or a ground out, which you like. And McCullers has been pretty unlucky. I mean, FIPS here, I mean, all fairly low compared to his ERA. That BABIP, I mean, 342, that's unusually high. So, I mean, McCullers is a guy I feel like if you do want to make a good spin off in GPPs, because I think people still view the Rangers as a top 10 offense, which I think at home they are. And even that's a stretch so far this season, but people might stay away. So I like him as a high upside guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm absolutely on board. I mean, among pitchers tonight, not only does he have the highest strikeout rate, but the lowest hard hit rate, 22.1%. I mean, you mentioned that swing strike rate is up there. I mean, there's really no reason to be concerned with him. If this game was in Texas, I'd be a little bit more concerned. And I mean, due to his lefty splits, I guess you can be hesitant on him in cash games. But I think that he, along with another guy we'll talk about soon, are going to be my main guys tonight.
Yeah, and thought on him. I mean, walk rate's a little bit more down than previous years, which was always kind of a concern too.
Mm-hmm.
As far as other guys go, I mean, we'll talk about Luis Severino. Should be a popular option tonight at his pricing. Home matchup against Toronto. And I think coming off his last start against Boston, I think the previous few starts, it was like, all right, he was facing some bad offenses. We expect him to do well. Not that Boston's been great, but I mean, obviously more talented than Chicago, more talented than Tampa. And kind of stuck it to him again there. I mean, I like him tonight. I like the matchup.
Yeah, I mean, Toronto's just not a good offense anymore. Encarnacion's gone. Bautista looks like he just kind of hit that wall at his, I don't know what he has, 34, 35, somewhere in there. But, I mean, it kind of seems like he's just not – maybe he gets it together. I know it's just now May, but I mean, he looks bad. I don't know if you watched him play, but he just does not look good. So, I mean, who else are you worried about in that lineup? I mean, Justin Smoke, maybe like hacking away and getting a hold of one. I guess Russell Martin's been hitting a little bit recently, but he's aging too, so you don't imagine him keeping it up. And, I mean, Severino's had a couple ways that he's been lucky. 217 BABIP, obviously ridiculously low, but – 21.1% home run to fly ball rate. That's not going to maintain. Obviously, in Yankee Stadium, that's not a great place to give up fly balls, but his ground ball rate's up 10% from last year, 55.6. I mean, that's an elite number. And his strikeout to walk ratio is 8.25. I mean, there's no reason at all to be worried about Severino in this. Just look at the numbers and don't look at the fact that the Blue Jays are the Blue Jays and used to be actually good, because they're the third worst team in baseball against right-handed pitching. And that's crazy to think after, last year, when especially with Donaldson's still out, right? He's got a couple more days.
Yeah, he's still out.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's really not a single batter in this lineup you worry about. I mean, Severino, it's crazy to say it against Toronto in that small ballpark, but he might be, aside from Kershaw, the safest option on the board.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Toronto, I mean, what they were always kind of a top 5 ISO team, bottom 5 right now. Strikeout rate's insanely high, I mean, near 23%. Yeah, if you look at that lineup, I mean, it's Darwin Barney, Ezekiel Carrera, Kevin Pillar. I mean, those are not guys you're going to be worrying about.
Those guys have double upside, though. If by double upside, I don't mean twice as good. I mean, literally, one of them might hit a double.
One of the 5 might hit a double.
Somebody misplays a fly ball, it could turn into a triple. So watch out for the sack. But they suck. And I'm not even just trying to be dramatic. They're really, really bad.
Yeah, they're not good. Yeah, and Severino, as you said, ground ball rates up. I mean, in terms of fastball velocity, I mean, he's got the gas. I mean, averaging about 97 miles per hour in his fastball this season. Not allowing any hard contact. I mean, Severino, I mean, I remember like last year, a lot of the Yankees fans were just like, this guy's not going to cut it as a starter, get him to the pen. That's where he's going to be good.
Yeah.
He looks pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean, even, 2015 when he came up, like, he wasn't striking out batters at this clip, but, I mean, he was a serviceable pitcher. I mean, he had an ERA was under 3. I mean, his FIP was a little higher than what you would expect, but, I mean, he still was decent there, It was really just him finding a way to keep the ball down, keep the ball on the ground. And I mean, he's definitely gotten that. So, I mean, he looks like, how old is he? 23. 23. Yeah. I mean, he's really good, and he's going to continue to be good. So, I mean, I don't like the Yankees or ever hope good things happen to them, but I mean, I like Severino a lot.
Yeah. Let's touch on Jason Vargas here. I mean, coming off his worst start of the season, which it wasn't bad, but obviously it wasn't good. I think that series we expected more from the Royals pitching because Danny Duffy came out the next night and laid out an egg as well. Um, Vargas, I mean, he still wasn't hit particularly hard. I think it was a little bit more unlucky moving to a pitcher-friendly ballpark in Kansas City. Um, obviously his stuff is pretty unsustainable, but I think he's going to be still a serviceable pitcher. I don't quite know about the strikeout upside and if that's going to continue, but the Chicago offense, I know they've hit lefties a little bit better this season, but it's still not hard. I think they kind of fall back down to earth as well. So I don't know what to make of this matchup, but I think Vargas comes out on top.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that series against the White Sox last time. It almost seems like the White Sox are one of those teams, unlike the Blue Jays, who got off to a bad start offensively, and they actually have good hitters in their lineup. They were just all struggling at the same time. So, maybe they really are turning it around, and they're actually going to be a serviceable offense like they're supposed to be. Guys like Abreu and Frazier were really struggling, but mentioning the strikeout rate, I mean, I just don't see really any way that he maintains this. I mean, 6 strikeouts per 9 throughout his career. And I mean, it's not a short career. He made his debut in 2005. I mean, I think you were in elementary school then. So like I mean, he's been around a long time, and now all of a sudden the strikeout rate of almost 10. I mean, his walk rate is like a quarter of what it was before. I mean, his ground ball rate is up almost 10% from his average. Home run to fly ball rate is 5. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to worry about him maintaining this. And, that walk rate of 2%, that's been almost 7 for his career. So I'm with you. I think he's going to continue to be a serviceable pitcher. And obviously he's hitting his spots and he's missing some bats, and that's great. But he's going to be pretty much cash game only option for me as like a secondary guy. I don't think he's a guy that I'm really expecting to continue to this upside.
Yeah, I think DraftKings is where he's going to pretty much sit for me the rest of the year. I mean, like you said, he's missing bats 14.5%, which obviously that translates into a good strikeout rate. His changeup has been stellar, not giving up hard contacts. So, I mean, you see the logic, but you also don't, see it holding. It's not like his BABIP's down. I mean, it's still 303. So it's not like he's getting really lucky in that department. But, yeah, I don't know what to make him. I mean, I like him tonight. I think he's in a good spot just because I'm looking at this. White Sox are 4th in the league in WOBA against lefties, but not a ton of power. I mean, 28% hard contact rate. I mean, a high BABIP as a team. So I don't know. I'm not buying the White Sox are good against lefties.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence there. I mean, my whole thought is that the thing I think is the most concerning, like I said, was that home run to fly ball ratio is 5. I mean, that's a ridiculously low number, and he does have a 42.6% fly ball rate for his career. So, I mean, if things turn bad for him and those fly balls start leaving the park, then it could be, really, really bad. So I don't know. I think, like we said, secondary cash game option, I guess, but he's not a guy that I'm going to be excited about. He's going to be one of those guys that they can keep pricing him down. I'll slot him in as a second guy, but that's going to be it. I'm definitely concerned.
Yeah. I mean, at 7,400 on DraftKings, I think that makes sense as an SP2.
Oh, yeah.
8,700, $200 more than Severino on FanDuel. I'll take the Severino upside there.
Yeah, there's contrarian moves and there's dumb moves, and I think that's a dumb move on FanDuel.
Yeah.
And $300 less than McCullers.
Yeah, so I mean,
bump your pitcher down a little bit and get McCullers.
What about other arms here? I mean, some guys are in some decent spots. Michael Wacha at home against a high strikeout team like Milwaukee. I know they've been hitting the ball well, but Busch Stadium's been there. I don't know. I mean, I kind of have some interest on DraftKings. I mean, 7,200 if you're not quite buying Vargas.
Yeah, I mean, I could get behind Wacha. I mean, he's gone, at least 6 innings in every start, quality start in every one. So I think he's a fine, safe option here. And then, Milwaukee does scare me, but more so against lefties. And, Wacha's got almost 11% swing strike rate, hard hit rate, 20.6%. I mean, that's insanely good. So, he's still a guy that doesn't do well at keeping the ball on the ground, 37%. But, right. I mean, I guess that's concerning a little bit against Milwaukee, but it is nice that he's in St. Louis rather than Miller Park for this one. So I think he could be a kind of a forgotten guy, because Kershaw eats up so much ownership on these slates that guys like him definitely go overlooked. So, I mean, I get behind that. I think you were on him last time, and I really wasn't. And he went out and spun another nice game. So,
It's because
I'm
Walker's
starting
one
to
of those
believe that.
boring guys. Like, he's a boring pitcher. Like,
Yeah.
over the years, I mean, Walker's definitely been a guy you just never really roster for, like, huge upside, but
Yeah.
he hasn't been bad. I mean, I kind of like what he's bringing to the table this year. If he gets any higher in price, no thanks, but at that price, I'll take a look.
Yeah. And I mean, on a pretty big slate, I mean, what do you expect? This ownership's going to be what? 5-7% on FanDuel, maybe?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think, and if he's averaging what, 37 FanDuel points a game. If he gets you that, you're thrilled tonight.
Yeah. Anyone else? I mean, there are notable names. I mean, Dylan Bundy, Amir Gary. Once we went Amir Gary, he's only 5,500 on DK.
Yeah, I mean, he got absolutely rocked last time out, and this is not the Reds fan of me because I'm not ignorant enough to believe that the Reds are actually good. I mean, they're showing their true colors now. They suck, but I mean, he definitely still has upside. Like, I don't think I'm really going to pay 7,500 for him on FanDuel, but a Pittsburgh team. We were talking earlier; they're missing David Freese, Starley Marte. Thought he'd get away with pulling a Barry Bonds. Obviously, he couldn't do that. So he's gone. Then you got Cervelli's questionable. I mean, aside from, I guess Josh Harrison is hitting lefties decently. McCutchen looks good again finally, but I mean, Jordy Mercer. You worried about his tiny little body taking you deep? I don't think so.
Yeah, I am actually.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, in Cincinnati, I guess if this game was at PNC, it's a little different. But I mean, I think if you're making 10 lineups on DraftKings, maybe you pair them with Kershaw on one, and kind of get yourself that nice floor that way in case whatever stack you're going with goes off. If a Garrett gets hit hard again, it doesn't kill you. But not particularly excited about him on FanDuel there, but I definitely think, for like the 1 to 2% owned guys, I think he has some upside, but the floor is definitely not there.
Yeah, and definitely, as you said, I mean, more of a look on two pitcher sites than anything.
Yeah, and the only other guy really I'm looking at, and I don't want to because we've said before, like, I don't like him, and I know you don't like him, is Trevor Bauer, because Mickey's out for one more day, so that's another big bat that's gone, and we know how it is with this Detroit lineup is it's all or nothing a lot of times with these guys, and Bauer's going to walk too many guys as he always does. I mean, he's done a manageable job this year with it, but he's still striking out a ton of guys. 7, 6, 7, 8 strikeouts, hasn't gone more than 6 in the third, which is a little concerning. But, if he can go 6 innings, get you 7 strikeouts here at that price, I mean, nobody's going to play him against the Tigers because, you don't usually play slightly above average pitchers against the Tigers. And they're, second highest walk rate in baseball against righties. They got a lot of power, but, one more time without Miggy, I think might be worth a shot if you're making a bunch of lineups. But if he gets bombed, I mean, don't blame me because he still sucks.
No, they should blame you.
I'm just saying, if you have to have one guy you think is going to be super low owned and you're going to throw him in, then, okay, 8,000, under 8,000 on FanDuel, right? You're not playing Brett Anderson. Looks like wind's blowing out there. You're not playing Velasquez in that same situation. Probably not playing Garrett. Davies.
I'd rather play Garrett than Bauer. I hate Bauer that much.
Okay, I could see that, but there's not really other options. Davies is easily the worst pitcher on the board tonight.
Yeah.
Cashner's
pretty damn close, but yeah.
Cashner's pretty horrible. Covey, I don't expect much out of him. Odorizzi, I never liked. Too many fly balls. It's a decent park for him, but I don't know. I think
I'd rather go Bundy or Waka, if anything.
Yeah, Waka for sure.
I think that's my thing if I am making Bauer. I don't know.
I refuse to play anything but elite pitchers at Boston. I refuse to do it. And Bundy, I know he's trending up and he's got good stuff, and that's fine. And it's not a knock on him. But there's just too many good young hitters in that Boston lineup, as you know.
Yeah. I'm not going to use Bundy tonight. I think some people will. He's been up and down against Boston in his career, but I'd rather use Walker. I rather use Severino Vargas if I'm making moves elsewhere. But I just see Bundy probably being a more popular. Bauer, I guess, is a spin-off, but I don't know. I can't make that spin off myself.
If we're being honest about making less than 5 lineups, I'm not going below Waka. It's going to be Waka, Severino, McCullers, Kershaw.
Yeah, I think if you are building a ton of lineups, and I mean a ton.
Yeah, dozens. Like if you're going on DraftKings on the 20 max, then you put in a guy like Bauer. But if you're not, then just don't be an idiot.
No. So, anyone else?
I mean, okay. So if you got to pick one of the bottom 5 guys on FanDuel, who's gonna get a quality start? Bottom 5. So Odorizzi, Selman, Norris, Cashner, Covey.
Oh shit. Damn, I think Norris might be the most talented, but the matchup sucks. I don't
He
like.
Was great against Cleveland last time.
Yeah, he was, and I don't know, man. I mean,
by the way, does he still live in a van outside of Walmart?
I don't think so.
You heard about that, right?
Yeah, that was Walmart. What's Kroger? Is that's one of the famous Midwest grocery stores? It's Kroger now.
From the low class parking lot to the high class one.
Yeah, Kroger now.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Kroger. I'd sleep in their parking lot.
I'll probably say Odorizzi just in that big ballpark. I know he hasn't done well, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I see it, I guess
he's been close to 2 quality starts so far this year, and I'll give him that. But not a guy.
You remember when he used to actually strike people out? He'd give up too many homers, but he would strike people out. I mean, those were the days because he used to get him for cheap.
I think the Yankees were the only team you could just logically play him against, but not anymore.
Yeah, no, I don't play fly ball pitchers against the Yankees ever again.
No, because the judge is in session.
The judge is in session. I like it.
All right, that's going to wrap things up here. You can check out dailyfantasycafe.com for all great tools and content.